What's going on? Explain to me what's going on. Explain to me what's going on.
So MLB.com published a poll of Rookie of the Year today, came out, and famously, Ken, me and you used these polls a lot in the last couple of years to determine how we wanted to bet awards, and it really helped, except when we were trying to beat Blake Snell. We didn't listen, famously, and that went really well. Anyway, but the Rookie of the Year one came out today.
Didn't Logan Webb win? I thought Logan Webb won the award. He didn't win the award. What about Justin Steele? Did he win the award last year?
He did not. All 7 or 8 guys that we bet did not win that award, but it's fine. Yeah, we come back this year, and it's fine. But Colton Cowser was number 1, and that's fine. He's top of the leaderboard in WAR right now. Not going to win because he's hitting like 185 over the last 2 weeks, but that's neither here nor there. Second place with the next most first place votes was Mason Miller, the closer for the A's, who has a sub 1.5 ERA. He's got a negative FIP, which is like he's breaking statistical algorithms. It's
how do you get
nuts.
a negative FIP? How does that even happen?
I didn't even know it was possible, to be honest.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was possible. He strikes out the side every time he comes into the game. He's electric. He has a 103-mile-an-hour fastball. And he came up in this poll, and my jaw legitimately hit the floor because he's not going to be a rookie by the end of the season. He will not qualify as a rookie. You might remember, and Ken, you brought this up when we were talking about it in the break, this happened to Luke Raley of the Rays last year. He was top of the leaderboard in WAR for rookies, but he didn't win the award because about halfway through the season, his rookie eligibility expired. And the same thing is going to happen to Mason Miller. He pitched enough last year that at some point over the next couple of weeks, it's going to expire. He's not going to be a rookie anymore. He'll technically be a second-year player, even though this is his first full season.
So weird.
And so he won't win the award. And I know some places, you mentioned, somebody messaged you, that some places have him up as a rookie. If that's the case, do not bet Mason Miller to be the Rookie of the Year because he legitimately will not be a rookie in about a month, and you will lose that money.
Is he really ineligible? So, like, if he's a rookie now, but he's not a rookie, like, in August, he can't win? Like, that's how it goes?
Will not be on the ballot because he will technically be a second-year player, yeah.
I mean, like, this is so stupid. I don't even know what's stupid. Everything about this is stupid. Like, I'm not, no specific person is stupid. I guess Major League Baseball as an institution is stupid for, like, this happening. Just like, so, just to be clear. So there was a poll, and people were asked, who is your Rookie of the Year? And they voted for someone who is technically a rookie now, but is not going to be a rookie when the actual award is announced. And that was, like, totally cool.
Yep. Correct.
Who's going to win Rookie of the Year?
If it makes you feel better on the National League side, people voted for Paul Skeens. He has not thrown a pitch in Major League Baseball yet. So
I'd vote for Paul Skeens just because I watched the Twitter clips.
Yeah.
I'd vote for him.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Is he getting called up soon?
There is rumors, or to use a Costosism, there's scuttlebutt about Paul Skeens potentially getting called up this weekend.
If he gets called up, I mean, it's only May. There's no way it's too, even though he's a pitcher, there's no way it's too late, right? Like, he could definitely win.
He could. I think the problem is there are 3 other pitchers who are already ahead of him who everybody likes.
Right.
One of them
Jared
pitching
Jones.
tonight, Shota Imanaga, who's pitching against the Red Sox tonight. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto is also pitching tonight. He's been awesome, and he gets the Marlins. So he'll probably get even more bump after tonight, assuming that, he takes care of business
Marlins
against
bump.
the Marlins. Yeah. I still don't think him nor Imanaga nor Jared Jones are going to win because they're pitchers. I don't think Colton Cowser is going to win in the American League. I honestly don't know who's going to win in either league so far. I think we have a lot of time because guys are getting called up left and right, but nobody's really separated themselves. I still like Jackson Merrill a good amount, the San Diego center fielder. He's got to hit a little bit more, but he's played really well. He's somebody who I'm watching. Joey Ortiz of the Brewers is another guy that I'm watching. American League, it's anybody's game, honestly, but it's definitely not
Jackson
Mason Miller's
Holloway?
game.
He got sent down, right? Is it? So is it done? Who was the guy for the Cardinals that got sent down? And they got sent down again this year, right?
Jordan Walker.
What do you value the most? This is something that you're going to have to decide, I think, if you want to bet the winner from this point forward. If Denver gets eliminated, what do you value the most? If you value team success in the regular season, so there's option 1, that's Boston. It's not even close. They were by far the best team in the regular season. They meet every historical test you could. They're one of the best teams ever in the regular season. That's easy. Their flaw is their best player from a metric standpoint. This is not an eye test Twitter argument. From a metric standpoint, identifiable, documented stuff is not as good as basically every best player on every title winner in the history of the league. That's their flaw. So, team success, do you value that the most and you're willing to ignore the Tatum stuff? Maybe. That's option one. Option two is, do you value the superstar the most? And the team is, well, if they're good, great. But if they're not, I want the star who's in the prime of their career, who's ready to win, and that matches 98% of all the winners previously. That's the winner of Luka against SGA. That's the winner of that series. It's those two players. They're in the prime of their, like, they're at that point basically right now. So it would be the winner of that. Do you value that? And you're willing to ignore the team stuff a little bit. That OKC's on this 1 year jump and they're so young that the Mavs are, by statistically, one of the worst teams left in the postseason. Or option three, and I'm ignoring some teams here on purpose, option three is that this is 2004. And in this one postseason, this is the craziest thing ever. And Minnesota's just going to railroad everybody because of how the game is being officiated and how good they are. And like, then you go with them. It's almost like team success, the star, or like the team of the moment, which is basically that the Timberwolves are just on one right now because of how everything's going. You got to eat flaws. However you want to proceed from this point forward. Which do you want to go with, PJ? Like, which flaw are you willing to eat and bet that team to win the title?
I think it would probably be option three. So I told you when we were going to break, option one, I just immediately the regular season and play and the postseason in the NBA. It's just, I mean, it's two different animals. You know, guys, as we know in the regular season, guys are resting so much. You're going through the motions. You could have back-to-backs, 3 games in 4 days. Like it's one of the hardest regular seasons to bet just because of the uncertainty. And so often you're checking to see who's playing and who's out there. Playoffs, the game slows down. The teams are just so locked in. Obviously, the familiarity. It's not so much about kind of – it's really about who wants it more. And obviously, execution is huge. And it's put such a premium on kind of coaching and who the superstars are. Option two is interesting because Luka and SGA are excellent players. I just don't really love the team. So I think this is just one of those kind of like years where it's just like, this is who Minnesota is. And as you alluded to last segment, like they're just kind of doing better than what everybody else is kind of doing in kind of this season of NBA basketball. And their defense is just so, I mean, it's relentless and they're so well connected right now. And it feels like the pieces, like every guy just knows their role. They know that Ant's the superstar. They know that Cat is a 20 and 10 guy every night. Gobert's the defensive player of the year. McDaniels and Naz Reid are just perfect role players and 3-and-D type guys, and Walker Alexander. And they have, and you know, they take on the DNA of like their coach, Chris Finch, and Tim Connolly obviously built a winner in Denver, and now he's building a winner in Minnesota. So that for me, Ken, it would be between option two and option three, I would say, but I would give the nod to option three. I just think this is one of those years where, you know, maybe we look back 10, 15 years from now and we'll be like, man, like that Minnesota team, like they were the ones that kind of won it all. But when you go back and you watch them play and you're like, yeah, they were really that good. So
right, yeah, I had to be there. Right.
They were just, I mean, I remember that game too against Denver when it changed my mind. So I would take option three. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think just from last night and like watching the game, second F's going, I pull the laptop out and I'm like, all right, let's like recalibrate and figure out like what are we gonna do? Like what is there to do here? Because initially, I said this yesterday, I went into the playoffs and I was like, you know, like I really like Denver and that's great. But it's okay to have a Denver contingency plan. Like, what would you do if they got eliminated? What would you do if they had an injury? You can argue like Murray's calf is like really, really upsetting this series in like a significant way. I don't know if he's fully healthy, if it's gonna like it was really tough last night. And maybe he's not 100%, and that's the difference in the series. It's just that was just such a smackdown that it's tough to get around. That Minnesota is just really well equipped to guard them, and in this series is better.
First thing that sticks out to me is that I will be betting Kirk Cousins to win this award because the storyline. Oh yeah. I mean, Ken, now that they just drafted Michael Penix, like there's your storyline. Here's right. I'm channeling my inner Collinsworth. Here's a guy, right? Had a great year. Could have won the MVP with the Vikings. And he was having a great year. And then he tears his ACL, free agent, moves on to Atlanta, all those weapons. And then you get the Penix. And it's like Aaron Rodgers, the Packers drafted Jordan Love. Rodgers went on to win MVP. Obviously, Cousins isn't the quarterback that Rodgers is, but with the division that he plays in, certainly set up for success. The fact that you have a first-year head coach, I think that plays in his favor as well. And Raheem Morris, his first year in Atlanta, I should say. But to me, Ken, the Penix angle is really why I like Cousins for this award. Now, obviously, Rodgers and Burrow, Rodgers, you're talking about an all-timer. Burrow's certainly on a really good trajectory to be a Hall of Famer. I like the Bengals aspect as well, in the sense that the division that they play in is so strong, certainly could be in contention not only to win the division, but maybe getting a top 1 or 2 seed in the AFC. The fact that it's kind of this like last hurrah almost for Cincinnati, even though they've lost Mixon and Boyd. Higgins once out. If he kind of comes back, this could be their last chance with Chase and Higgins as well. And then Rodgers, the fact that we only got to see him for one series and now he comes back for the Jets, and like if they're able to maybe win the AFC East, if he's able to lead them to the playoffs, I don't think the Jets have been back since 2010 or something. So, Rodgers is set up in a great spot with the market that he plays in, with how bad the Jets have been the last decade plus. But that's what jumped out to me, Ken, when you were going through the list. And like, I had no idea who you were going to say, right? And then you went through the list and I'm like, Rodgers, of course, Burrow, of course. Sure. And then as soon as you said Cousins, I was like, ooh, that's interesting at plus 500. Now that they just got Michael Penix. So that was the first one that kind of jumped out at me. Going through other, the other names, like, Chubb at 20-1 could be interesting, just because I think most thought he was one of, if not the best back in the NFL. And like, he had such a gruesome injury. And, not only is he returning, but obviously Watson as well. And I think Cleveland had like 26% of their like cap was on IR last year. So they're returning a ton of injured guys. And if Chubb's able to like lead the league in rushing and return to like the player that he was before he got hurt, like he could be somebody, especially at that price, 20-1. Anthony Richardson is fascinating just because of like the potential, just like that dual threat, like all the touchdowns that he could kind of accumulate, kind of like that Josh Allen, big body, like using him in the red zone, just get 2-3 rushing touchdowns a game. But is he going to stay healthy for like a whole year? That's kind of what I question. To answer your question, though, in a long-winded way, as I'm kind of talking through this, I like Cousins. I think that would be my play. I just think, obviously, those weapons in Atlanta, them taking Penix in the first round, easy division. You have Raheem Morris stepping in his first year as the new coach. He would be my play. Would be Cousins at plus 500.
So we only have a minute left here. I'll do my thoughts on the top of the next hour. Cousins 5-1 would be like if I hand you money, you have to click buttons. First click Cousins, second click Nick Chubb, second click Rodgers, second click what do you think?
Man, I think first click
Burrow.
Cousins, second click Rodgers, third click Chubb.